This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about our first match here. We've got Skip, Rad Radford, Tom Prichard, and the 1-2-3 Kid beating Marty Jannetty, Barry Horowitz, Bob Holly, and Hakushi. They go 18 minutes and 45 seconds. Meltzer would say there were 2 late changes to the match. Kid replaced Jean-Pierre Lafitte, who had hernia surgery earlier in the week for a stomach injury suffered at the Nassau Coliseum on November 10th. It was announced on the show that Ted DiBiase had paid Pierre off to stay home and had bought the spot on the show for Kid. Holly was replacing Avatar. This change wasn't even acknowledged on the show with a storyline reason. What really happened is that Holly was one of the wrestlers unhappy and ready to leave last week, complaining about not getting enough dates. And as a perk to keep him, since pay-per-view payoffs are several $1,000s, they put him on the show. They called Al Snow up to tell him he was off the show because Holly had been with the company longer. What do you make of these 2 stories here? First of all, the Pirate suffers a hernia surgery that's going to put him down for the count after a stomach injury at a Nassau Coliseum show just a little while before this. My goodness, this is a pretty big time surgery, especially for a young man. He had to have a rough go there at the Nassau Coliseum, huh?
No, he did. He had to have the surgery right away. So you had to replace him, and that's just an injury replacement. Guess what? It happens. It ain't ballet. And as far as the other, I really don't remember anything about replacing Avatar and Bob Holly in any way, shape, or form.
We got to talk to Al about that one day. I'm sure he's got a fun
Avatar.
You need to explain why you're saying Avatar that way.
Well, just because every time that Al came in as Avatar, and Jim Ross was a big proponent of Al Snow and Avatar, and I don't know that Vince was necessarily sold on Avatar. And the gimmick, I don't remember if the gimmick was Al's idea or where the hell it came up, but JR got to the point to where whenever there was a suggestion for anybody in any match at any time, the first word out of JR's mouth would be Avatar. We need somebody to, for the third match against Bam Bam Bigelow in Waukesha, Wisconsin, Avatar. Or we need somebody in the third match on Avatar. I need somebody to paint my house on Tuesday, Avatar. No matter what it was Avatar. And it just became to the point of everything. Everybody would finish every sentence with Avatar. And poor Al Snow was
buried,
kind of dead on arrival.
Let's talk about a couple of moments in the match here. Skip is going up top for a superplex, but Marty Jannetty's going to block it and come down with the move of the night, a power bomb off the top rope. That's going to get it done. So that's ultimately the finish for Skip. I do want to mention though, when Jannetty goes to break out a rocker dropper, it doesn't work because Kid has his foot on the ropes. But as he's executing it on commentary, Mr. Perfect says, "Boy, that move could break someone's neck." I mean, I realize
one more reason not to have Kurt do live commentary.
My goodness. I realize you're trying to rib the boss, but goddamn, this is on the air. That's off the headset talk. What are you doing?
Yeah. I don't even think that Kurt was looking at it as a rib. I think that, it's just trying to do color and not being fully prepared in a live environment.
I mean, if you could see Vince, he had to be cringing at that moment, right? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. Who knows?
Let's talk about after the match. I guess we should mention Kid, even though he's a replacement here, he winds up winning the thing, beating Razor Ramon. And Ramon is going to go crazy, throwing a television monitor against a wall a few times and destroying it. 3 3/4 stars. Nice little elimination match. I would have liked to have seen a little more of your brother. He was the first eliminated. But when you see this group of guys, you tend to think, well, this is sort of a soup of a match. Like you got a little bit of everything in here, but I don't know.
Did, and it was a good one. And maybe when you have Tom analyze the next match, that you have him analyze over there on ad-free shows, he can analyze this and just tell you why in the hell he did get eliminated first and why it was probably best that way. But It was, yeah, it was one of those matches where you look at the star power that was in it and the delivery of the action. It was tremendous.
I know a lot of times guys, destroy TV monitors like they are here with Razor. It's part of a planned storyline, et cetera, et cetera. But occasionally when a guy would, sort of go into business for himself, as they say, if he tears up a monitor or a microphone or something like that while he's in character and just throws the shit in 95, do they get billed for it?
In 95, I think I was charging $1,000 per thrown microphone. Because they were expensive. They were wireless microphones at the time and very expensive. So every time someone would throw a microphone and break it, it was $1,000. They're a little less expensive these days, and a lot more durable as well. But the monitor, we would have a gazillion monitors on the road, and some that didn't work that you needed to get rid of anyway.
So when one goes out, hey, let's use it in an angle, throw it against that wall.
Oh yeah. Don't throw anything away.
Right.
You can always use it.
There you go. The top rope, superplex into a power bomb. That's a big move that we've only seen a handful of times over the years. Where are you at on that? The top rope power bomb.
Long as it's safe. Awesome move.
Looking back at this, who or what stood out to you the most? Skip, your brother, Brad Radford, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Marty Jannetty, Barry Horowitz, Bob Holly, Hakushi. We didn't even talk about Hakushi.
I think, more than anything for me, it's just kind of the evolution of the Kid.
Yeah.
And also anytime that you see Marty Jannetty working in this time frame and era, Marty was tremendous.
Let's keep going here. Let's talk about, something else on the Observer, which I think is sort of fun, cause I don't think we've talked about this type of stuff before. Meltzer would write, the WWF is instituting a 3 saves rule in tag matches, which they got over on a weekend television match with the Guns over Kid and Ramon by DQ when Ramon made a 4th save. I really like this. Why don't you think that this became a thing that people still enforce? Because it happens all the time now.
I don't know. I think that with wrestling, sometimes people like to suspend their disbelief and also suspend reality in the way that it's okay not to have rules, I guess.
Right.
There actually was a rule book
for the NWA
back in the day.
I have it.
So, yeah. And so when you look at some of those things, and then you look at the, probably one more reason why Tennessee and places like that didn't use the champion as much, because it was the Wild Wild West and they did everything and, nothing really meant anything. So their audience had already been trained and educated that anything goes in a lot of respects. So then when you institute rules to some audiences, that slows things down. And it just takes away from it. I think if you do it correctly, that it can enhance a match. And if you have heels that actually cheat and try to work around the referee, that could enhance things. And that was the idea behind it. If you have a rule to break, it's more important than not having any rules at all. You have a rule to break and you break it behind the referee's back, it means something.
Well, I love it. And, I wish it was a thing again. Let's talk about the dark match. It's the Smoking Guns beating Public Enemy. Yeah. Public Enemy in the WWF in 95. This even seemed to surprise Meltzer in the Observer. Of course, they wind up signing with WCW for a run. They're back for a night or so here later, but 95, man, they were over in ECW. They're getting a tryout here. Is this something you think they did with or without Paul's blessing?
No, definitely with Paul's blessing. And Paul's the one that hooked it up for us. And unfortunately that damn bell had to ring.
You're not fans of, you liked Rocker Rock. It was Johnny Grunge you weren't a fan of, or you just didn't like the act or any of it?
No, I loved the act. I loved the entrance and I loved the crowd participation. However, I did like Rocco an awful lot personally. Ted Petty, I thought, was a hell of a worker and a pretty nice guy. Ted was always really good to me. You know, Johnny was Johnny, but I didn't dislike Johnny. It just could take him or leave him. The act was hot, but once you realize that, when that bell rang, there wasn't a whole lot there other than in ECW, they could use the chairs and all the hardcore bullshit.
The tables.
Yeah. It just didn't translate.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.